this video is a part 2. We have a part 1 on emergency supplies. My husband and I have backpacks that we keep in our cars at all times for emergency situations. We also have a pretty heavy duty first aid kit in case either one of us needs it or we run into someone who needs it. We believe that we could be in the end times. We also believe that the world is headed in the world is in a rough place and anything could happen. So whether or not Jesus comes back in our lifetimes, we think that there's a high probability that we might see some tough times. And so we like to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And so this video is a part 2 because I'm going to be talking about food and water situations in emergency situations. So I'm just going to be taking you through some of my favorite food and water supplies and ideas that we have and what we literally actually have for those situations. You want to think about what foods are going to fuel you in an emergency situation. I think it's actually wise. There's my mom. She comes over and helps out with David. She's so sweet. So in an emergency situation, you actually might need carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are a quick, easy fuel source, and in an emergency, they're not the worst thing. So I would definitely consider carbohydrates for emergency food, like rice is a low toxin carbohydrate that you could consider. But for the most part, we do have animal foods. So carnivore bar is pemmican that is shelf stable, and that literally is a survival food. If you do not want to purchase the carnivore bar with my code, which is tailored, then you can make your own pemmican. So pemmican is equal parts dehydrated meat and tallow by weight. And that's tallow. Or pemmican, that's pemmican. And you can add things like dried berries or herbs, or you can just do meat and tallow and salt. And that is a shelf-stable product. It is high fat, it's got protein, it's amazing. It's like meat fudge. Other good options that are protein sources are going to be your canned meats. So we have canned chicken, we have canned salmon, we have sardines, we have anchovies, we have cod livers in their own oil. All of these are high protein, and then obviously the cod livers have a lot of fat as well with the oil. I also have freeze-dried suet by Grassland Nutrition. This is a superfood, not just an emergency food, but it is a superfood. And if things got rough, I would be depending on this stuff. It fuels me. It is so good for your mitochondria. So suet is the fat that is particularly found around the kidneys, and it is particularly rich in stearic acid, which promotes mitochondrial fusion. Mitochondrial fusion is when two damaged mitochondria fuse together to create a new healthy cell. And so your mitochondria is where we produce ATP, energy. So if you want to become a better fat burner and energy producer, then consume stearic acid or suet. So Grassland Nutrition makes freeze-dried suet. It comes in a bag. You can get it from their website with my code, which is tailored, or tailored 10 actually. Or you can get it from Amazon, from their shop on Amazon. That is a really good product to have on hand. What else? I believe we actually have a couple of boxes of like gluten-free macaroni and cheese. And I actually got those like during my pregnancy and when I was playing around with carbohydrates, but then I didn't want to eat them anymore. So that's now an emergency stash. And then water, we have these giant containers that Tyler got off of Facebook Marketplace for a really good deal. And these hold like 100 gallons of water. So these will have Tyler, myself, and David covered for, up to 6 months of water. And so we have those filled with water, but we will dump them out and refill them regularly so that it's fresh if we were to go into an emergency situation. We have fuel, we have a generator. We actually are going to have 2 generators. One of them is to back up basically everything that we need that's running. And then we'll get another small one, I believe, just for the chest freezers that we have, because we have 6 large chest freezers. And if we were to lose power, we don't want to lose all that food. We don't want to lose that meat. So that is what we're doing in terms of energy. We have emergency things like toilet paper, backup diapers for David, baby wipes, white vinegar, which is our cleaning supplies. We have extra white vinegar for sanitation. I have colloidal silver and hydrogen peroxide, which are also hydrogen peroxide is great for cleaning as well, but colloidal silver is awesome for wounds, for healing. And then I have oregano oil. So that's more of the like medical kit stuff. Food and water, back to food and water. So we have a lot of Equip Foods Prime Protein, and this is our personal stash. I pass this stuff out. I get it for all of my gift bags for my retreats. I love Prime Protein. It is amazing. It tastes amazing, but it is a complete protein. So it's made from beef protein isolate. I'm not a fan of whey protein. It is very rapidly absorbed into the bloodstream, and whey is basically a waste product. Beef protein isolate is like ground beef in powder form. And so it's a complete protein, not inflammatory, and it's shelf stable. And so that is a fantastic one to have. You can just mix it up with water and consume it like that, and then that's your protein. And it's, you know, shelf stable. So lots of Prime Protein. And I think those are the main things. So I am going to actually take you around our house to a couple places and show you some of these things. But those are the main ideas. Oh, and we also have electrolytes. We love Redmond Relight. We use it every single day to stay hydrated, as well as Redmond Real Salt. And we have set aside from our own personal purchases, set aside Redmond Relight for an emergency situation, because I need those electrolytes. I function optimally with electrolytes, and we want that if we were to go in an emergency situation. So be thinking about those things. You know, what do you need to feel optimal? I really feel optimal with electrolytes, minerals, fat, animal fats, and animal proteins. So be sure to stock up with those. Welcome to the basement. So we have, as I mentioned, a lot of Prime Protein. We have unflavored, flavored. This stuff is incredible. Shelf stable, highly recommend. And we put it in these bins so that, you know, we don't get mice or anything. We don't want to leave them in cardboard boxes. This is actually needs to be put into a bin, but this is our emergency stash of Redmond Real Salt and electrolytes. And we do have bags of the salt, but this is the emergency stash of the electrolytes. And then in here is the other stuff I was mentioning. So we have toilet paper, paper towels, white vinegar, baby wipes, and that's the water. That's all water. Again, you can get those on Facebook Marketplace. They use them for a whole bunch of different things. And then these are our chest freezers. So this is not just like for emergency supplies, but if you eat meat every day, buy in bulk and then save your meat. Like, it saves so much money if you can invest in a chest freezer. That way you can put things away. So like if Costco has their strip steak on sale, we get a bunch and then we freeze it. Food Lion, you know, like, it'll save you money in the long run. We actually have a whole chest freezer full of breast milk. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with this breast milk, but that, you know, I've thought about, like, if we go into a state of emergency, I would definitely consume my own breast milk, but there's meat in there as well. You get the gist. So, buy things on sale, stock up, and again, we have a generator to back up these chest freezers if things were to go bad. All right, so here's the carnivore bar. Love these things. They are so incredible. That's the pemmican. And anchovies, sardines, I always get these in water, not the oil. It is not going to be 100% good quality olive oil if you're paying a couple bucks for it. So I always get the ones in the water. Oysters are another superfood. Those are a great source of minerals. Another thing to consider, pumpkin. That's a good source of carbohydrate. So we have some of those. Chicken breast. These are the brands that I get. So these are some of the things that we have in our pantry currently because I do consume them, but these are also good ones to have for emergencies. Cacao butter. So this is a great source of fat. It is not an animal fat, but it is saturated fat, and it is also the #1 source of stearic acid, which I was talking about with this product. So this is the Beef Suet by Grassland Nutrition. This stuff is incredible. I would be really interested to see what you guys do in terms of emergency situations and preparing for those. I think that it's really wise. I think now is the time, and it never hurts to be prepared. So please do leave comments, your ideas, your comments, and you know, if you have any more questions, I am an open book on this topic. We just want to be prepared, and I'm happy to share.